But you know how many stories there are about men or women that have Alzheimer's and their partners are the only people they remember?
Stop. I fucking can't.
No, yeah, like it's just sad. You be watching and you'll be like, they'll be like Notebook.
Yeah, I was about to say
Yeah, I
the
know.
Notebook.
The Notebook, man.
I don't like that movie.
I don't care. I like it. The
This
Notebook.
shit.
The
It's
Notebook,
too
man.
unrealistic.
It's
Yeah.
not unrealistic as fuck. You know,
Yeah.
crazy bitches be
You know-
out here acting crazy.
You know,
and
I
men
know.
out here.
That's the realistic part about it is
I
that she's
know.
crazy.
And the fact that
That's the only realistic part about it is that she's
Nah,
crazy.
bro.
But
And
somebody
he
that
He
crazy.
said it's just unrealistic that a man would write to a woman a letter for 365 days, like one letter per day for a whole year. He's like, that's so unrealistic.
well, you got to think about the fact that like
I just don't think it does a good job suspending you in disbelief. I think like I'm all for movies being fantastical as long as you suspend me in disbelief correctly. You know what I'm saying? Like love stories and rom-coms and like and romance movies like that's their job is
Yeah.
to suspend you in disbelief and give you this like wild like fantasy kind of thing, but you have to do it correctly. And that movie just didn't sell me because I thought that somebody with that character, because she was a little wild, like, you know, she was indecisive and like,
Yeah.
you know, in different places and stuff like that, and she was dealing with the hierarchy of like of society and like her being of some status and him being some. It's basically you know what The Notebook is. I saw a clip of this the other day. The Notebook is basically Jack and Rose if they were never in the Titanic, if they met in real life. Like in like regular life,
Yeah.
if they weren't stuck in a boat that they were about to fucking die, and they had to like just love bomb each other essentially, be like, because this is all the time we have, so we're doing this. You know what I mean? Like that's what would have happened. It was like her coming from a different place of society and him being some like, you know, and then her struggling through all that like all that shit. I just don't think she would have stuck around. I don't think she would have stuck around for that long. Him being that in love with her. I mean, it's cool. Like I can deal with that.
But she didn't stick around. What are you talking about?
That's like, you know how she kept going back to him. She kept like, I don't know what I want, and like
She
you know,
did that once.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
but
one time.
She only did that once.
he.
Like she was
didn't-
already about to be married and all the things.
I think she would have gone through with
She
it.
would no. She had already like, you know, done the things and the stuff with the man that was richer and all the things. And then like the one thing that she was all like, well, man, that little itch. She scratched it and then it was like, yo, maybe I shouldn't have scratched this itch. And then she started being all like, oh no, and then like realized that it's like, you know, he's the one you love, bitch. Just let it go, do the thing, go.
Yeah, I
make it and
think
paint.
by that time, I think they would have been in completely different parts of their lives. They wouldn't even have been like feeling those things anymore.
Yeah, I think the reason why people really like that movie though is just the fact that, well, I like the movie because I didn't realize that the old man was him.
Yeah,
Until the very
that's
end.
the twist, right? That's the like.
Yeah, I
like,
think that's
here
the
we
only
go.
thing
Is
that
it really? I realized that immediately. He's
I
telling
didn't-
the story to her. Yeah.
No, I thought it was just like first I didn't even realize that when I first watched it, I didn't realize that they were the couple that they were reading about. I thought they were just reading a book. I thought they were just reading The Notebook.
I also think she's so. I just also think, realistically speaking, she's so cruel. Like, imagine being put through that, emotionally speaking. If you were that guy, like that's not a love story. That's a story about a woman that's so
Well,
cruel
I
to
will
a
say,
man.
though,
and then him sticking through that, even though at the end, like she has Alzheimer's, she can't remember him and stuff like that. Like that's still so cruel. Put somebody through that kind of shit.
What did she do that was so cruel? Like, what did she put him through? I don't understand.
Well, isn't he trying to get her with her the entire time?
No.
no.
It goes. There is at one point.
This just goes to show how long
when
ago
they're
I watched the
young,
movie.
yeah, you have to rewatch this movie.
Yeah,
'cause
you
you have
really
it all
do.
wrong.
Yeah, you
when
really
they're
do.
young, they meet. She's still like
They're in
I don't
love,
even
yeah.
think she's 18
She's
yet.
she hasn't even gone to college yet.
Yeah,
and he was a lot
and her
older than
parents
her.
like basically run her life, but she's looking for that excitement that she hasn't gotten yet. So she meets Jack Jack. Jesus.
Dang,
I
Rose
know.
and Jack.
She meets.
They
whatever
fall in
his name is.
love, they
fall in
break
love,
up.
Yeah, but then and then her parents kind of forced
Yeah,
for
they-
her
they-
that
they
she was
break
going to
up.
go to
Yeah.
a college in New York.
Yeah,
So she goes up to New York. They broke up, and then she fell in love with this other dude.
cool. Yeah.
While she was in the army being a nurse.
Yeah,
'Cause she was a nurse.
And
Details.
he was writing letters to her, but she didn't get them because her mother was hiding them. She didn't
Sure.
like her mom didn't want
yeah,
her
yeah,
to see them.
villainous. Yeah,
So then later, like she's already in love with this guy about to get married. She goes back down to the town where she met him for some other thing. It was like supposed to, I think it was for wedding dress shopping or something.
Yeah.
They re-meet.
And then she
They
runs
rekindled.
into him. Yeah. And like,
Some Rory Gilmore and
so she ends up going to the house that he bought for her, and then realizing she was like, oh, I shouldn't be here, because all of a sudden all those feelings are coming back up.
Sure.
And now she's feeling all that like,
she's remembering all the like feelings that she, because I believe the reason why she didn't go back to him, apart from the fact that she was obviously being very much controlled by her parents, was the fact that she was under the impression he no longer wanted to be with her. So there's a big they Darcy'd and Lizzie Bennett that shit. No. Don't do that. No.
Even you were like, that's not the story.
No.
Don't you dare.
No, look,
I like it, but don't you dare compare it to P&P.
That's not what I said.
No, because
that's not what I said.
That's not what I said. No, really don't. Because
don't compare it to P&P.
The Notebook is one thing, but don't talk about my Pride and Prejudice like that, because that movie, we're not gonna talk about it right now because it's too much. Anyways, she was under the impression that he didn't want to be with her because of the mom doing something, and basically she thought that she gave him, if I'm not mistaken, the message to go see her before they left. But her mom didn't let that happen. So she was like, oh, so you don't want to be with me.
But then ultimately they have that little moment where like she's confused or whatever. She ends up going away anyway. And
he never sees her.
And then he just shows up when she has Alzheimer's.
What? No. She.
And then he just shows up when
she goes back to the.
Yeah, she went back to the town and like she shows up and there's the confusion there and she's not sure, because she's like, I still love you, right?
Got it.
And then they talk about that miscommunication that happened, and she's like, wait, I thought you never wanted to see me. He's like, no, that wasn't what happened.
But
then she started like, everything came back to her and was like, wait, somebody was fucking with this. Somebody was fucking with the timeline on purpose. Yeah.
And obviously at that point she's confused because she's like,
so does she get back with him or no?
Yes. At that point she does, but she's very confused and she kind of goes back and forth a little bit because she's like,
so she ends the marriage.
There are two different guys, huh?
She ends the marriage.
Yeah. She eventually does because she's
like, that's fucked up to the guy that she was marrying.
Well, I mean, what was she gonna do? Keep being with both of them?
No, but at that point, like, if you saw somebody and shit was fucked up, like, if you really love that other guy, then...
Well, that's the thing, though. She thought she loved the other guy under the false pretense that the other guy no longer loved her.
So she would only love that other guy if the first guy did not love her.
She fell in love with the other guy simply because of the fact that she was heartbroken because she couldn't be with the other guy.
The love of her life was the first guy.
The love of her life was the first guy.
She was willing to settle for.
She was willing to go with him and be with him and everything. If it wasn't for the fact that obviously her mom and her dad got in the way, or her mom really, and then. Once she found the other guy, she was like, well, I mean, obviously I'm not about to stay single for the rest of my life just because the motherfucker didn't want me no more. Because that's what she thought. She thought he didn't want her no more.
And I'm sure she felt some closure when she, realized like, okay, this guy doesn't want to be with me and stuff. Like, I got to move on. So she found some closure there. And then she realized that the closure wasn't valid.
I'll give this movie another chance.
Yeah, and then she realized it was no longer...
I'll give this movie another chance.
Once she talked to him and talked to him about it, she was like, oh, shit. All this shit is wrong. Everything I've been doing was under one assumption.
Yo, what would you do in that situation?
Exact same thing that she would.
Really?
I would fight my mother. I would throw
That's the first thing that you do?
Yes. No, yeah. I would do exactly what she did. Go up there and be like,
I don't mean, like, obviously there's going to be a rift between you and your mother, which probably that already existed because she made you do shit you didn't want to do. So there's a lot of resentment there anyway. But, like, what would you do in that situation if you're committed to somebody at an engagement level, which you claim to love, which you probably do love this person, but...
You can love someone... Mm-hmm. And have deep affection for them and have these things
but that's why I'm asking.
But then then the person that you were in love with and actually love and most compatible with, if they don't love you back, what the fuck are you supposed to do? So that's
I really think
I would have done the same thing that
if she would have been like, oh, I already made this promise and this commitment to this other man, like I'm gonna go and be with him. It would have been wrong to both of the guys. Yeah. It would have, because even to the guy that she's.
But like, wouldn't it have been fair? Do you think, realistically speaking, right? Because the movie in that sense hinges on the fact that she was still in love with the first guy the entire time or whatever. But like, realistically speaking, you go through your life, you're running through your shit, you're finding new goals, you're finding new ways that you're trying to live your life and things like that. And as time passes by, things do heal. Like maybe you still have some lingering shit there, but like time passes by. Do you think you specifically, maybe not her because the movie's about the movie, but like in that situation, if that happened to you, if you ran back into your first love, a deep affection, a longing, or something that you never had closure from, and then you realize that it was misunderstood and things like that, would that specifically make you all of a sudden get that resurgence back, or would you be like, yo, that's wild, but like I'm in a different part of my life now, like I don't necessarily feel the same way anymore?
Well, I think it also really depends. So like if I had felt that for somebody and the entire time that I'm in this courting phase with somebody else, I'm constantly thinking about that other person because that's really the person that you want to be with, then I would be like, yo, I'm sorry, but like I love this dude. You know what I mean? Now, if I was put in a situation where I think, you know, in terms of reality,
right,
is if that relationship was toxic or whatever, maybe wasn't the best idea.
Toxic?
Huh?
Were they toxic?
Well, I mean, they weren't like.
It was young love, right? It was young love.
It was young love.
So it was emotionally immature love. That's not necessarily the same.
It's not
That's not
toxic.
necessarily the same as toxic. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
now that
talking
you're
about
more
like,
emotionally mature, would you be able to look back at that and be like, man, I had, like, you have no idea how much I loved you.
Well, because
you have
there's
no
a
idea how much I
difference.
wanted this to
So
work.
there's a
But like, also, I'm a
difference.
more emotionally mature person now. I know what I want. There's different things that I want out of life.
There's a difference because I could say that I would have gone back if I was under the pretext or under the assumption that it was emotional immaturity. I wouldn't go back if I knew that it was not emotional immaturity and it was just pure toxicness. Because that, like, it literally happened. So like I know.
But like also like what would you like? You would be in a completely different emotional space in your life.
Mm-hmm. I feel
so. Like, wouldn't that be enough to put yourself in like maybe you will get a resurgence of like, man, this could have been this way or we could have been. But like to run back, would you run back?
It also depends on the
ran
person.
Back.
It also depends because for instance, he wasn't asking her to be like drop everything for me. He was just like, dude, I still love you. You do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do. You think about what you gotta think about. I still love you.
But he did tell her, like, you know, I mean, that's the whole famous scene, right? The whole, what do you want? Yeah. He's telling her, like, you do have to make a decision.
You gotta make, like, you gotta fit
doing this. And like,
you can't be saying like, I want, like, I don't know if I want McDonald's or I want Burger King. I just gotta like. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So that's why why it really matters on the other person because.
So what does she end up doing? Did she end up going back and getting married, or does she end up staying with him?
No, she told you. She breaks off the
marriage. She stays with him.
She stays with the guy. Yeah.
And then she gets Alzheimer's, and then he starts retelling their love story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it.
Like after they got kids, after all the things, and then they're old and shit. Got it. That's just how life works.
Okay. Well, yeah. I guess I gotta give it a second chance.